Okay, so over the next couple of days, we're going to be going through trigonometric graphs. Okay, now you have done with me the graphs of y equals x squared, you've done y equals x cubed, and we've done a few kind of other graphs. So what we're going to do is I'll just quickly show you how to construct the graph of y equals sine x and how to solve a couple values with this. Okay, so first thing you got to do is you got to grab your calculator. Okay, now notice how I've set this out. I'll quickly go through how to kind of get the values and just how to draw the graph. Should be pretty self-explanatory. All you're going to do is you're going to type in sine 0. Okay, and we get 0. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Next, sine 30. We get half, or 0.5. Sine 60. 0.86 or 0.87. We'll go to 1 decimal point. Sine 90 is 1. Sine 120 is 0.87. Sine 150, 0.5. Sine 180 is 0. Sine 210, negative a half. Sine 240, negative 0.87. Sine 270 is negative 1. Sine 300, negative 0.87. Sine 330 is negative 0.5. And then sine 360, we're back at 0 again. Okay, so all I've kind of done there is go through just typing in, signing these different values and getting a y value out. Okay, so we've got an x, we've got a y, and we can actually draw the sine graph now. Okay, so I've got 0, 0. What I'm going to do is I'll make a couple dashes on this just to make it a little bit easier. It's not going to be perfect, but you'll see the general idea. So 30 degrees, we've got 0.5, so that'll be that. 60 degrees, 0.87, be about that. 90, and then it starts to take shape. Okay, so 210, negative 0.5. Okay, now one thing that you will see just from kind of doing the task is that, and what you remember from x squared is it's not a jagged graph, it's not loads and loads of straight lines, it is a nice smooth graph. Okay, now this might be a bit tricky to kind of get your head around because it's the first time you've kind of seen trigonometric graphs, but what you'll see from the table is that, say for sine 60, we get 0.87, but you get the exact same answer at sine 120. Okay? Now, you might be thinking, well, how does this relate to triangles? How does this relate to the trigonometry I already know? Don't worry too much about that for now. Okay? We're just focusing on the drawing of the graph and the interpretation of the graph. It's a bit tricky for me to explain just on paper, but I will go over that in the future, and you will see it, obviously, again. For now, I'm just getting you to be comfortable drawing it and solving it. So, what you need to be able to do on this particular task is find the values, for example, where y is equal to 1. Okay, so if you were to go along, there's just one value where sine is equal to 1, and that's at 90 degrees. Already got that in the table. When is sine equal to, let's say, 0.87? If I was to go along, I've got one value, but I've also got a second value. It crosses at 2 points. Like with the quadratic graph, if you get a line that goes all the way through it, we've got two roots to the equation, we've got two answers here. Okay, that is what the sine graph looks like. Tomorrow we're going to be covering the cosine one. We're not going to do the tan one just yet, just cos and sine, but it's just knowing what they look like and recognizing them at this point. Okay, so that is what the sine graph looks like. That is how I would draw it. If you want to go ahead, do a bit extra, you could do the cosine one. I will do another video for that. Okay, but if you were to pick any kind of value between 0 and 1, there are, say we had negative 0.5 for example, there'd be one value there at 210, and there'll be another one here at 330. Okay, so that is kind of how you would solve a trigonometric kind of graph. That's how you draw one. That's how you get the shape out of it. I can go into more detail later on, but this is all you need to know for now, that this is what it will look like. Okay, so good luck with the task today. It's just getting to grips with this graph.